Welcome back to Plot 27. This video is the storyline of the 2018 crime thriller movie, The Negotiation. The story begins with a hostage incident in Yongjae Town, Seoul. Police Inspector Chae-yoon arrives to check on the situation. Her colleague, Hyuk-soo, is surprised to see Chae-yoon dressed like that. It turns out Chae-yoon received a hostage report while she was on a date. Chae-yoon's men report that a Filipino has taken 2 hostages in the house. The criminal, who doesn't speak Korean, requests a helicopter to escape. Chae-yoon then goes to Captain Jong to ask permission to rescue the hostages, but Captain Jong decides to send special forces. Chae-yoon then begs for a chance to negotiate with the criminals, and Captain Jong finally agrees. Chae-yoon is actually on leave, but Hyuk-soo deliberately contacted him because she can speak English. Captain Jong forbids Chae-yoon to enter the house, but Chae-yoon ignores him, and she ends up encountering 2 criminals holding a man and a woman hostage. Chae-yoon asks them to release one hostage so the police can send a helicopter, but the criminals are angry when they see the special forces outside the house. Captain Jong orders the special forces to move, and they manage to shoot one of the criminals. Seeing his friend shot, the other criminal then kills the male hostage. The special forces manage to enter the house and shoot the criminal, but the criminal turns out to have killed the female hostage before the special forces shoot him. In Bangkok, Thailand, a group of men, led by Min Tae-gu, arrested a reporter named Lee Sang-mok. After the incident, Chae-yoon decided to resign from the police force. Captain Jong rejected Chae-yoon's resignation letter and told her to rest for a few days. Hyuk-soo came to Chae-yoon's apartment. He told her that the police commissioner wanted to meet with them. Chae-yoon and Hyuk-soo then went to meet Commissioner Moon, who was with the presidential secretary. The head of the police investigation division, Young-suk, took Chae-yoon into the room. It turned out they called her to negotiate with an international criminal, and the criminal was Min Tae-gu. Chae-yoon suddenly hung up because she didn't know what to negotiate. Chae-yoon and Hyuk-soo are shocked to discover that Tae-gu is holding Captain Jong hostage. Chae-yoon immediately steps in and takes over the conversation. Tae-gu demands to know who is watching them, but Chae-yoon is instructed not to reveal that the presidential secretary is present. Young-suk explains that a week ago, reporter Lee was kidnapped while tracking a source that led to Tae-gu's crimes. The police then ordered Captain Jong to Thailand to consult with him. The presidential secretary explains that they have actually sent the Air Force as part of a joint police-military operation. The presidential secretary then points out an island controlled by a Philippine rebel group, the location where Tae-gu is holding the victims. Commissioner Moon plans to stall for the arrival of special forces, and they only have 14 hours. To carry out the mission, Chae-yoon requests that her team be assembled. Chae-yoon couldn't get much information because Tae-gu had lived in England since childhood. Chae-yoon spoke with Tae-gu again to find out what he really wanted. Tae-gu said that he wanted to talk to the CEO of Daehan Daily, where reporter Lee worked. Chae-yoon complied with Tae-gu's request, and they brought the CEO of Daehan Daily, Dong-hoon. Tae-gu asked why Daehan Daily didn't write a story about their reporter's kidnapping. Guided by Chae-yoon, Dong-hoon said that they prioritized reporter Lee's safety over a news story. Tae-gu then asked how close Dong-hoon was to reporter Lee. Seeing Dong-hoon's nervous and confused look, Tae-gu then said that reporter Lee was not an employee of Daehan Daily. Commissioner Moon joins the conversation, seeing Dong-hoon's fear, but Tae-gu doesn't like it when the commissioner intervenes before he calls him. Seeing Tae-gu about to shoot reporter Lee, Dong-hoon is forced to admit that reporter Lee is not a Daehan Daily employee. Tae-gu, furious at being lied to, suddenly shoots Captain Jong. The special forces on their way to the location receive instructions to change plans because Captain Jong is dead. Chae-yoon asks who reporter Lee really is, angry that they won't reveal who Lee Sang-mok really is. Commissioner Moon orders members of the National Intelligence Service to take over the negotiations, and he orders everyone out of the room. In the car, Young-suk reveals that Lee Sang-mok is actually a black agent for the Korean Intelligence Service, tasked with spying on Tae-gu, an arms dealer. Chae-yoon then meets 2 of his team members, Lee Da-bin and Park Min-woo. Although the commissioner has given this case to the National Intelligence Service, Chae-yoon says there are still other hostages they have to save. She is willing to take the risk so that Captain Jong's death will not be in vain. 2 National Intelligence Service agents are negotiating with Tae-gu. They threaten to arrest Tae-gu if he makes a wrong move. One of the agents then talks about a place called Shangri-La Mountain, a company that Tae-gu used to lead. Shangri-La Mountain runs an illegal business selling Korean-made weapons, and the two agents promise to erase Tae-gu's criminal record if he is willing to release reporter Lee. Hearing that, Tae-gu thinks the two agents are making a joke, and he wants to go back to negotiating with Chae-yoon. Min-woo manages to find out that Tae-gu is a former mercenary. Da-bin wonders how foreign mercenaries could acquire such a large number of Korean weapons. Everyone in the room is anxious because Tae-gu is holding a family hostage. He then takes their daughter, Cho-rong, in his arms and asks to speak with Chae-yoon. The special forces head to the kidnapping site by sea, and they have 4 hours left. The presidential secretary again summons Chae-yoon and his team for negotiations, while Tae-gu orders his men to take the mother and her 2 children out. Min-woo then says that Tae-gu is emotional seeing them. Tae-gu mentions a name, Koo Gwon-soo, the head of 9 Electric. Tae-gu asks the police to pick him up within an hour. Gwon-soo turns out to be the founder of Shangri-La Mountain, a fictitious company in England. According to information, Gwon-soo has resigned, and Tae-gu is now the company's owner. Lee Sang-mok learns that funds from weapons sales to pirates are being sent to Shangri-La Mountain. Police Chief Choi says that Gwon-soo initially used the company to conceal his arms sales profits. While Tae-gu was in the Strait of Malacca, Gwon-soo betrayed him by providing information to the Korean intelligence agency, and the police then deleted all records of his crimes. The presidential secretary goes to meet with Gwon-soo at the 9 Electric Weapons Laboratory. They provide funding, a location, and equipment for the operation. Gwon-soo is with Park In-kyu, deputy chief of the Korean intelligence agency, and Sun Young-tae, Air Force commander. Shortly afterward, the head of national security, Hwang Juik, arrives. Meanwhile, Hyuk-soo visits Dong-hoon's house, who is leaving with his family. Hyuk-soo learns that the person who ordered Dong-hoon to provide false information is Park In-kyun. After receiving this information, Chae-yoon realizes this is no ordinary case. Tae-gu demands that Gwon-soo reopen his blocked Swiss bank account and asks why he killed Hyun-ju. Chae-yoon and the others are shocked to learn that Hyun-ju is the woman killed during the Yongjae hostage incident. Tae-gu then asks Chae-yoon to remember a painting in the house, and the owner of the painting is Gwon-soo. Hyun-ju turns out to be Gwon-soo's personal secretary. Her job is to keep records of the expensive paintings owned by Gwon-soo, because their money is actually in the paintings. With the price of one painting reaching over 10 billion, they use the paintings for money laundering. Tae-gu then plays the audio of 4 high-ranking officials discussing the embezzlement of fighter jet funds. Tae-gu has hacked Hwang Juik's recording device, as he has a habit of recording important conversations. Tae-gu threatens to kill all the hostages if Hwang Juik doesn't appear within an hour, but the presidential secretary says Hwang Juik can't come because he's with the president. Hyuk-soo learns that Park In-kyu has communicated with Captain Jong several times, discussing Hyun-ju's murder. Hyuk-soo then suspects Captain Jong may have accepted a bribe. Commissioner Moon asks Chae-yoon to buy her another 2 hours, but Chae-yoon is at a loss for what to do. The Air Force has arrived at the Strait of Malacca, and Hwang Juik plans to kill Tae-gu and destroy all evidence. Chae-yoon tells Tae-gu that Gwon-soo is being interrogated, and Hwang Juik is unreachable. Chae-yoon asks Tae-gu to tell who received the money from the painting sale, but Tae-gu doesn't want to say anything because Chae-yoon could lose his job. Chae-yoon, not afraid of losing her job, promises to reopen Hyun-ju's death case. Tae-gu then speaks with Commissioner Moon, who is willing to reveal anyone involved if the police reopen Hyun-ju's case. It turns out Tae-gu is broadcasting live on the internet and on television. The presidential secretary panics and orders all media outlets to stop the broadcast. Tae-gu threatens to kill one person in 10 minutes if Hwang Juik doesn't appear. Hwang Juik orders Park In-kyun to fabricate a story, with Gwon-soo in the lead role, and demands that a military operation be launched immediately, regardless of the hostage's safety. Hyuk-soo is at Hyun-ju's house and finds a photo. The presidential secretary orders special forces to destroy the power generator to prevent Tae-gu from broadcasting live. However, if the power generator is destroyed, they will not be able to monitor the hostages. Chae-yoon requests camera access from one of the agents stationed there, but the presidential secretary refuses and orders his men to remove Chae-yoon and the others. Chae-yoon then threatens to tell Tae-gu about the military operation if she is thrown out of the room. Hyuk-soo goes to the Samong orphanage, where the children's photos were taken. The orphanage owner reveals that the place in the photo is an old building, and Hyunju is Tae-gu's younger sister. Hyuk-soo immediately informs Chae-yoon about this, while the special forces have already begun the military operation. Chae-yoon promises to bring Hyunju's case to justice and protect Tae-gu as a witness. The special forces successfully enter and battle Tae-gu's men, but Chae-yoon demands the operation be halted due to the bombs planted on the hostages. Hwang Juik ignores Chae-yoon's pleas and orders the special forces to continue the attack. After witnessing several explosions, Hwang Juik is relieved that Tae-gu has died along with the hostages. After checking the monitor, Chae-yoon informs the presidential secretary that Tae-gu is still alive. Chae-yoon then finds something odd. She sees the same sunlight as Korean time in Tae-gu's video. Chae-yoon concludes that Tae-gu is actually in Korea and not Thailand. Hyuk-soo goes to the old orphanage to gather information, but instead finds Captain Jong's body. Hwang Juik and the other officials are celebrating, unaware that Tae-gu and his men have arrived. Tae-gu orders his 2 men to leave, as he will handle everything himself. Hyuk-soo contacts Chae-yoon and informs her that all the hostages are safe. Chae-yoon then warns the presidential secretary that Hwang Juik and the others are in danger. Upon hearing this, SWAT team are immediately deployed to the 9-star electric building. With a bomb strapped to his body, Tae-gu enters the room and shoots Gwon-soo. Meanwhile, Chae-yoon and the SWAT team have arrived at 9-star electric. Chae-yoon then enters the room, saying that she knew Tae-gu would seek revenge for his sister's death. Chae-yoon apologizes for not being able to save Hyunju, asks Tae-gu to stop everything, and promises to uncover the truth about the case. Tae-gu reveals that he was the real cause of Hyunju's death. He had asked her to steal data for his business. The SWAT team prepares to shoot Tae-gu, but Chae-yoon deliberately blocks them. Chae-yoon begs Tae-gu to give her one last chance for Hyunju. Tae-gu then smiles and is about to shoot Hwang Juik, but a bullet hits him in the head. It turns out that after ordering Hyunju to steal the data, Tae-gu decided against it because it was too dangerous, but Hyunju would still do it rather than live in fear. Before they part, Hyunju says that from now on, she will be the one to take care of her brother. Hwang Juik orders Park In-kyun and Sun Young-tae to change the scenario, but Chae-yoon approaches them and says that she will bring Hwang Juik and the others to court. Chae-yoon and Hyuk-soo are at Tae-gu and Hyunju's graves. Chae-yoon then takes out the pen drive that Hyunju used to steal Gwon-soo's data. Chae-yoon finally keeps her promise to Tae-gu. She takes the corruption case and Hyunju's death to court. With the pen drive containing the transaction data, Chae-yoon swears to tell the whole truth, and the movie ends. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.